everybody. My name is Thomas Chang with Norwegian Cruise Line. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, so I'm going to do my best to keep us on track. I'm going to go really quickly. As I mentioned yesterday, today I'm going to do a very general overview of Norwegian, how it could fit into your business, what's new with us. And hopefully we'll learn some. You'll go away from today learning something new. That there are some talking points you can tell your agents, and maybe you will learn how to qualify your clients on the proper product when putting them on different suppliers. Again, my name is Thomas Chang. I am the main contact for Archer Evolution Travel. If you haven't yet, if you haven't registered with Norwegian yet through Archer Travel, please do so in a travel cafe. Because once you register, you will get email blast from me called Thomas's Lowdown. Earlier this week, I just sent out an email about our road shows that's happening in Atlanta and New Jersey, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to come and learn more about Norwegian. But again, I'm just gonna keep going because I have a lot of slides, and I usually talk. I usually talk in a long-winded session, so I need to really get focused on. So Norwegian, since our new boss John Chernesky joined us, his hope is to make Norwegian the easiest cruise line to work with. And since he has joined us, we really changed a lot of ways how we approach the business. And one such way is we want to make Norwegian the easiest product to market. So I'm going to talk about the More at Sea, which we just announced last week. We have one of the highest guest satisfaction in the contemporary cruise line brand. For those of you who don't quite know what a contemporary cruise line brand is, it's known as it's Carnival, MSC. Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian. We're kind of at that same level in price points when we're pushing to clients. So that just to give you an idea on the different product that's out there for cruise line. And Norwegian, we actually have a 72% repeat rate for guests, and that is actually an amazing rate, especially in this space. So what makes Norwegian so special? How do we offer more to your clients? Norwegian, we actually go to the most destinations in the contemporary cruise line space. We go to over 400 destinations worldwide. We're known to bundle a promotion called More at Sea into our fare. I'm going to talk about that later in this presentation. And that it just includes open bars, specialty dining, Wi-Fi packages, third and fourth sail free, free air for a second guest. So it's one of those things where you're adding more value to the clients and for yourself, because when we bundle the fare price is higher and you get paid more with a 16% commission that Archer Travel has. And we do have a variety of staterooms, which I'm also going to talk about. Norwegian invented a lot of new staterooms that didn't exist before in the cruise line industry. And of course, we have a bunch of onboard activities that that's very exciting for us, and I'm going to talk more about that too. So the Norwegian difference. Norwegian, we're part of a 3 cruise line brand. We're actually sister brands with Oceania and Regent Seven Seas, but Norwegian actually has 85% of the capacity out of all these 3 brands. We serve about 2.5 million guests a year. Currently, we have 19 ships that's sailing, with a 20th coming next year, and 8 ships on order till 2035. So it's a lot of ships coming, basically one a year. We're very excited about it. We go to over 400 destinations worldwide, I mentioned that, and we have over 50 departure ports, right? So we don't just do a lot of those cookie cutter itineraries that you see a lot from contemporary cruise lines. So, I mentioned destinations earlier. We go to a lot of I'm going to go, this is just kind of a highlight what I'm going to talk about. So destinations, we go to a bunch of exciting destinations. We overnight in a lot of exotic destinations. Most contemporary cruise lines do not overnight. I mentioned earlier, we package our fare, so we're including the beverage package inside. Broad generational appeal. So a lot of cruise line, they really serve a certain age group. And Norwegian, we actually have so many things. We have the Broadway production show for the older crowd. We have, racetrack go-karts for the younger adults or even the younger teenagers. We have a 3D Galaxy arcade for the younger kids. We have, of course, kids playgrounds, Splash Academy, which is our childcare program. So a lot of things for everybody of all age group. Premium and unique offerings. So a lot of fun, exciting hardware that you do have to pay for, but they are really fun. Elevated experience. So the Haven, I will talk about soon. This is our ship within a ship concept for the higher end luxury clients. And of course, freedom and flexibility. So for those of you who don't know, if you're looking at old movies, right? A lot of cruise lines, when you see shows and old movies, everyone's all dressed up. Everyone, dine together either at 5:30 or 8:30. You're sitting at the same table with the same seatmates, and usually the activities on the ship is so congested where they want to move the crowd all at once to particular points on the ship. But for Norwegian, we don't have a set dining time. We invented freestyle dining, where guests can just come in and actually sit down. Right? It's not just a small part of a dining room where we only allow these spots to be anytime dining. It's every specialty dining, every main dining rooms, and then we have pockets of activities happening all over the ship. So if people don't like to listen to the live country band that's playing in the Q Smokehouse, they can go to the Sugar Cane Mojito Bar to listen to Latin music, or they can even go to the comedy shows or nightclubs for different activities. That's all happening at the same time. So that's really fun for us, something we pioneered at. So Norwegian, we started a new marketing campaign, means with more at sea, experience more, more vacation, more value, more time. You don't have to make choices between relaxation and adventures. We actually offer more for your clients. So really quickly, I know a lot of my colleagues, they like to talk about our ships. I mentioned the 20th ship coming next April, the Norwegian Aqua. And, if I were to go through all the ships, it's going to take more than an hour. So really quickly, I'm just going to show you on screen what the different classes of ship that we have. On the top, the Prima class, Breakaway Plus classes, and the Breakaway class, they're all mega ships, right? 3,000 to 4,000 passengers. Usually they do the more familiar cruises that people would see, right? Alaska cruises out Seattle, the Eastern, Western, Southern Caribbean, the Canada, New England, a lot of European cruises. But if you're looking below at our other classes, so Epic, there's only one ship. That's a very special ship we made in France. But if you look at the Jewel class, Pride of America, Dawn class, Sun class, and Norwegian Spirit, those smaller ships, around 2,000 passengers, they go to more exotic locations where the big ships cannot go to. So the smaller ships you see below the screen are the ships that you will see that will go from Cape Town, South Africa, visiting Madagascar to Port Moresby, right? Or you will see them going from Japan to Seoul, Bangkok to Singapore. Those are the exciting, exotic locations that most cruise lines don't go to in our space. So really quickly, since I want to talk about our newest class of ship, I understand that for many of us, when we're selling to clients, mostly it's to the sun and fun places, right? The Caribbeans, and really the Caribbeans. That's where we can send clients to, and we actually have excellent ships for that. Our newest class ship, the Prima class, we actually have the most open space on a contemporary class ship. we have the best guest service ratio in the contemporary space. We have about 2.7 one staff for every 2.7 passenger, which is amazing for our space. And you really only see that kind of ratio on a upper premium and luxury class. Thoughtful design. So if you're looking at our ship, we have a lot of beautiful artworks that usually you don't really see outside in our art hall that we have, and we also have wonderful decorations and designs in our park and open spaces. So really quickly, the Norwegian Aqua I mentioned earlier, it's about 10% larger than our current Prima class ship. This ship will have the most outdoor space of any new cruise ship. And Norwegian, we pioneer an experience called the Ocean Boulevard, which is, before us, the most cruise line, they built their open deck space on top of the cruise ship. Norwegian is actually the first one where we changed the level of the lifeboats, and the lifeboat actually goes one deck lower, and on the decks where other cruise lines usually have their lifeboats, for example, deck 8, we would have wide open spaces. That's basically as big as the open space deck, or even in the Aqua, it will be even larger. So more room. We have an infinity pool right by the edge of the Ocean Boulevard. We will have, yesterday we showed the Aqua slide coaster, which is magnetic propelled roller coaster onto a water slide. So that's very cool. And we're gonna have a new digital court where the court can transform from basketball court to pickleball court and to clubbing area. So that's very exciting. We don't have a picture of it yet. This ship is still being built, but she's almost gonna be done. And we are redesigning a bunch of venues that's very exciting for us. Of course, specialty dining, I mentioned earlier, Norwegian. We were the first cruise line to pioneer the process of specialty dining. Now, some people hate it because they'll complain to me and say, "Hey, Thomas, because of Norwegian, we now have to pay for food." No, but we still have contemporary complimentary food on board the ship. It's just we bring even a higher level restaurant onto the ship, and the clients can choose to have it. And in this new ship, we will have Thai. It's called Sukhothai, and then a plant-based station called the Planeteer. I'm veggie free, so I don't particularly indulge in that idea, but that's something that's something for everybody. And then we have a new wine bar with more wine. I think they say it was like 1,000 wine bottles, which is crazy to me. But I'm not much of a wine person. I'm more of a beer person, as you can tell from my beer belly. But this new ship, Eastern Caribbean, she's doing a lot of Port Canaveral and Miami to the Eastern Caribbean, and then mostly visiting Puerto Playa, Tortola, St. Thomas, and Great Stirrup Key, which is our own private island. And she's also gonna do a lot of Bermuda from New York, 4 to 7 days with overnights in Bermuda. So that's very fun, especially for those of you who's on the East Coast. The Norwegian Aqua will be the newest cruise ship going out of New York with that itinerary. Now, accommodations. I want to talk. I know a lot of times when some of you might be moaning because, hey, we always hate it when cruise reps talk about cabin sizes, right? Like, do we really care about how far the toilet is from the door? And it's like, and then the space dimension. But I do want to mention something really quick. So Norwegian, we have the typical ocean view, inside cabin, balcony cabins, but we also have something called the solo staterooms, and which I'm going to talk about. It's very special that only Norwegian has. We have club balcony suites. We used to call them mini suites. It's basically balcony cabins, but a little bit longer with other amenities attached. And of course, the Haven, which is a ship within a ship concept that Norwegian pioneered. Okay, so we do have, and on top of these, we have a lot of cabins that's connecting. We also have special cabins That's for family. Like we have family mini suites or club balconies, 2-bedroom family suites with the Haven, where we were actually voted the best family experience by Travel Weekly. So really quickly, I'm going to talk about the studio, right? I mentioned only Norwegian has it. So what this is, it's basically a smaller inside for solo travelers. But the great thing about this is all in a key card access only area, and with they have their own lounge access, and they all have their own lounge access to this key card access only area. Everybody in this area are single travelers, right? Like if you're single like me, when I go onto a cruise ship, I want to chat up a girl, I always have to look around, like, is there a boyfriend? Is the husband around? No, I'm kidding. But but if when people meet in this studio lounge, they're all single travelers on board the ship. And the best thing about this product is the clients do not have to pay for single supplement, right? For those of you who's new to the industry, with all-inclusive hotels, cruise products, a lot of the staterooms are sold based on guest 1 and 2. A lot of times, if there's only a solo guest, you have to pay basically for 2 guests to be in a room. But on Norwegian, we have single categories. So it's any category ending with a T. You can book in studio cabins, inside cabin, ocean view, and balconies. And everybody, if you're paying in this if you're buying in this category, they can all use the studio lounge, and we do have complimentary snacks and juices and beverages, so people can kind of mix and mingle in this special area for single travelers. And we also are the cruise line that pioneer the single meetups, and we still have single meetups to this day on every single one of our sailings. So I mentioned earlier, this is available fleet-wide. So this is one of the studio lounge. This is probably on. I'm guessing this is probably on the Prima or the Viva. So very, very nice space for people to just hang out at. I mentioned earlier we have something called the club balcony suites. They are longer balconies, bigger rooms, and you do have added perks with earlier access to pre-booking restaurants and entertainment. It's a great product to kind of upsell your clients, if they want an additional service. Now, the Haven, I'll talk about the Haven. So for those of you who don't know, the Haven, it's on top of most of our ships. Majority, the big ships, the older, smaller ships do not have the Haven. These are key card access only. It's a complex. It's all suites with butler services. The people there, they have their own restaurants, their own sun deck, their own swimming pool, their own bar. On our new ships, the Prima class ship, they even have their own spa. Right? It's for the clients who don't want to hang out with people like me. They want to hang out with themselves. No, I'm kidding. This is for the clients that want the exclusivity of a small ship, right? You always have clients coming to you and say, hey, look, I don't want to hang out in a ship with 3,000 other people. That's crazy. That's too many people. But when you put them on a smaller ship, they then complain about, oh, it's the same 100 people. It's the same bar, it's the same 3 bars, it's the same 2 restaurants, it's the same 2 bands playing every day. But Norwegian, we offer the best of both worlds for them, right? So if they want to stay in their little exclusive area, that's fine. But when they're ready, they can come down to the rest of the ship and enjoy, our 20 different bars, 12 different restaurants, Broadway production show. So they have the best of a small ship and also the big ship. So this, like some of these Haven duplex suites are bigger than my house. Granted, I live in Los Angeles, so that's not saying much. But this is a great space. Up to 2,000 square footage, 4,000 square footage. It's crazy the amount of space they will have. And usually the price point, at the cheapest Haven room is usually about 4 times what a balcony room is. So this is, again, it's a little bit pricey, But for clients, who would rather, fly in business class, this is exactly the same thing where, we would offer. This is where the haven is located on our ships. On the Breakaway Plus ship, it's in the front top of the ship. The Jewel class is in the middle. And on our newest class, the Prima, Viva, Aqua, and Luna, it will be in the back, which is actually currently the best location. Now, the NCL vacation experience, right? I just want to show you. I don't want to dive too deep into this because, 20 different ships. They all have different onboard experiences. So it will take kind of forever to go through them. But here's just some example, right? We have, of course, the kids aqua park, which is available on basically all the ship except the Norwegian Spirit. That ship is built more for like an adult only experience. We don't advertise it as adult only. Kids can be on it. There's just not a lot of stuff for kids to do on that ship. We have mini golf on most of our ships, laser tags. I do need to remove that. We are about to remove laser tag on the Norwegian Encore to make more sun deck for everybody. So some people love it. Some people are kind of ambivalent about it. But laser tag, really, it's only we have mixed review about it. Let's just say. Galaxy Pavilion on the Joy, rope courses, breakaway, getaway, and speedway. So go-kart racing, we have it on about 6 of our mega ships. So something for everybody. Entertainment. So Norwegian, we're also the first cruise line to bring Broadway production show. We actually have a 40,000 square footage of training space in Tampa, where we train our performers. We create our own shows, and it's basically a new company. Imagining creating the shows, presenting it to your clients. Of course, we have comedy also, and we are also the first cruise line to have. We used to call it the White Party. Thank God we changed the name because that's a horrendous reference right now. But we changed the names a couple years back to the Glow Party. And we were the first cruise line to have these kind of parties on top on a cruise ship. Live music. So Norwegian, I mentioned earlier, we have different pockets of activities happening at the same times. We have great performers that would go onto the ship. The most popular one right now is our cover band, the Rumors, and it's probably the most packed venue on the new ship. On every single Prima, Viva that I've been on, every single sailing, that's the most popular. And we also, for those of you who's on the West Coast, when you're on the Bliss, Joy, and Encore, we have a great Beatles cover band. And we have multiple of them, right? And we train them and everything, and they are great. We have great live music. Interactive entertainment. So we have a lot for those of you who's been on our ship. And I would say this is kind of similar across the cruise line industry. Deal No Deal, Bingo. It's just fun production shows that people kind of get together and do. Now, the most exciting part, destinations. That's really, if you were to ask me one thing, what Norwegian stands apart from everybody, is our destinations. I mentioned earlier we do over 400 destinations worldwide, over 100 countries, over 50 plus ports. In the contemporary space, most cruise lines do the same cookie cutter itineraries, right? The same cruises out of Miami, Port Canaveral, doing the same Caribbean, doing the same Alaska cruise out of Seattle, doing the same Mexican Riviera cruise out of Los Angeles, right? But Norwegian, if you're looking at this map, you will see that Norwegian actually home ports where most other contemporary cruise lines do not home port out of. So Cape Town, we're the only contemporary cruise line out there. Tokyo, I know more people are adding in, but when we started back in 2022, basically there were only Princess there, and now everyone's kind of going in, and we're selling ridiculous amount of cruises out there. So a lot like Papeete, we're going out of Fiji now. We need to add that into the map. Bangkok, Vietnam, Singapore. So there's a lot of places that we go that most cruise lines do not go to. But of course, I should mention we also go out of a lot of North American ports, right? Quebec City, Boston, Philadelphia were the first cruise line to go into Philadelphia, I believe, not go back. Philadelphia starting in 2026. New York, Baltimore, Jackson. We're starting Jacksonville, so that's exciting for us. New Orleans, Galveston, and Oahu, Honolulu. We're the only cruise line that do the 7 day cruise out of Hawaii, over 100 hours of land time. When other cruise lines, they're probably stopping over 60 hours of land time. So that's a big differentiation for people who wants to see all aspects of Hawaii, and it's a great taste to that. And I forgot to mention Whittier. So for those of you who's done the northern and southern Alaska sailing before it's always from Seward to Vancouver and Vancouver back to Seward. Now, Seward is undergoing a major renovation for their terminal, so most cruise lines are moving out of there. So instead, we are moving into Whittier. So that's a new northbound, southbound destination for people who wants to visit Alaska. So itinerary. I mentioned earlier what we do a lot of exotic itinerary, and I just want to show you a couple of them, like some different example, right? So we did some research, and here is we compare ourselves to our competitors in Europe in 2025. So 60 when our competitor sells in Europe, they are import 68% of the time. That means outside of that, your clients would be 32% of the time at sea. For a lot of people who goes to Europe, right, they're not necessarily wanting to just stay on the ship and enjoying the amenity. They are doing their once in a lifetime experience to Europe. They want to see more of it. So Norwegian, we actually stay 90% of our itineraries are at land, right? So that's a 22% difference. We stay in port longer than anybody else. And just some highlights of Europe on where we go, and really any destinations in Europe you can think of, we go there. We have 145 unique itineraries that goes to Europe. We cover all the famous spots: Barcelona, Reykjavik, Santorini, Copenhagen, really everywhere, right? And just to example, here I probably went too fast. Going out of some interesting ports, I would go out of Istanbul, just because that city, if you've never been, it's amazing. And it's just a fun fact: Istanbul is the only city in the world where it is both in Asia and in Europe at the same time. Isn't that kind of cool? Istanbul and Rome is probably two special ports I would go out of, just because I feel like there's so much to do, so much to see. And here's an example of a itinerary, a 10-day cruise. And you'll see that we're actually visiting a lot of destinations. Here's the Prima, going from London, Southampton, to Norway, and then to Iceland. Right, this is one of the most popular cruise out there. It's basically sold out every year since we pushed it out in 2022. We're continuing to serve it for a lot of our on the Norwegian Prima for most of the summer. And here is a very interesting one. So this is a 9-day round trip cruise with no sea days, and you overnight in Florence, Livorno, right? So there's plenty of time for your clients to try the Tuscany, to be under the Tuscany sun, try the Florentine steak, have the Tuscany wine, visiting pizza, and just a whole bunch of different things you can do on this itinerary. And of course, Alaska. So you actually might not know this. Norwegian is actually the first cruise line to visit Alaska from Seattle. So that's something we don't talk a lot about. But here is another example of the amount of time your clients will be in port in Alaska. In us in the average industry time in port in Alaska is 74%. Norwegian is 84%. So again, more value for your clients. They're staying in ports longer when they sail with Norwegian. So we have 29 different itineraries. We do, there's a bunch of 9, 10, and 12 days. They are longer, but for those of you who has done Alaska, you will realize that you need more time on the cruise because the destination is very far away, and instead of the ship rushing back to port, we need longer time, and they can stay in the ports longer. So this is kind of the same itinerary that most cruise lines go to, which is visiting Glacier Bay, doing Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan. But one thing you guys should remember is since 2019, I believe in 2019, it's around 32 cruise ship that sails to Alaska. Since the pandemic in 2023, there are over 50 cruise ship now serving Alaska. So that's you're almost double the amount of cruise ships in Alaska. And because of that, not everybody can do Glacier Bay anymore because they do have a cap. So I know a lot of cruise line, including us, on some of our sailings, instead of doing Glacier Bay National Park, we would go to Dawes Glacier. So if you have clients asking you about Alaska, you do want to point out, you do have to study the actual itinerary to make sure the ship is going to the glacier that your clients want to see. Most clients, when they see that beautiful picture of the glacier, that's usually Glacier Bay. So that's just an FYI kind of thing. So here's a Norwegian Bliss sailing visiting Sitka. I think we are one of the only few cruise line that actually visit Sitka. That's a little bit different than that other one. And of course, this is another picture of the Joy visiting. Here's a picture of the Dawes Glacier, which it's hard to tell if you've never been to Alaska. Most glacier they look the same, but for the experienced travel agents and travelers, they would tell, oh, that's not Glacier Bay Glacier, right? So earlier I mentioned northbound and southbound. If your clients have the time and they don't particularly care about the ship, and I don't care if they're not doing it with Norwegian, right? You have to convince them to do a northbound, southbound Alaska cruise ship sailing with cruise tours. So usually the best way would be they do the cruise tour first, and then they get on the ship either at Whittier, so that's going to be the new departure points, or Seward. And because it's a one-way cruise, the ship doesn't have to rush back to the point of origination. They're staying in ports longer. They get to see more places. And the cruise tour itself, choose the longer itinerary. They get to see Denali National Park. They might even take them to Talkeetna, which is the base camp of Mount Denali. And they can even take a flight and land on a glacier in Mount Denali. That's what I did, and I had the most amazing time. I should really add some pictures of myself on there for that. Now, Caribbean. I know Fun and Sun is usually the same. It's the itineraries that everybody pushed the most, right? And of course, it's broken down to Eastern Caribbean, Southern Caribbean, Western Caribbean. We do go to all those places. If gun to my head, which destination would I go for? It's Southern Caribbean. So if you have clients asking you, all right, which is the best Caribbean itineraries to go to, always choose the southern one. Personally, I feel like it gives the clients more of an essence of what the Caribbean islands are all about. And when people call the ABC islands Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, that's what they talk about, right? Like when they're listening to the Caribbean, Jamaican music, that people actually are wanting to go there. But of course, Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, they're all nice. They all have different. They all have their own attraction. but particularly for me, that's what I would talk about. Southern Caribbean. We have 68 unique itineraries to the Caribbean, and Norwegian, first cruise line to own our private island, the Syrup Key. It's actually also the largest private island, and we also have Harvest Key in Belize, where we have our own private area that we bought from the government, where we dock and clients can have a good time. So lots of ships sailing. Just an example, here's what an Eastern Caribbean cruise looks like. Southern one, oh, this one is beautiful. I actually think Jose talked about this in my last partner of the week a couple months ago. It's a New Year sailing from New York to Galveston, right? 15-day itinerary, 11 ports over New Year's, visiting the Eastern Caribbean, the Southern Caribbean, and ending in Galveston. So beautiful, beautiful itinerary. Western Caribbean, New Orleans, very fun city to sell your clients to. You can package them with a lot of pre and posts, especially before or after Mardi Gras. It's great to incorporate a package in there. It's a nice idea to really find out what the local festivals are. Like that, for example, Japan, cherry blossom season, or Thailand, water festival, right? You can incorporate that and upsell your clients on a bigger package that you can add to it. But here is New Orleans, going to the Western Caribbean. If you are interested, you can actually go onto the agency portal, the travel agent portal. Again, you need to reach out to Archer Travel, go to Travel Cafe and register so you can have access to the agent portal. You can actually go in and click on popular itineraries, and you can find out what are the itineraries that are being sold the most in Norwegian. So very, very fun kind of Excel spreadsheet to kind of look into, because if you're wondering what to advertise on, it gives you a great data on what's being sold right now. Now I need to really move fast because I only have 20 minutes left. So again, that's oh, we have some Asian questions, and I guess we can take a break a little bit, and then I will listen. I will try to answer some questions.
Yeah, Thomas, I've been recording them throughout the presentation for you. Excuse me. The first one is from Jeremy Hayden from Facebook. It says, with overnight ports, do passengers have to be on the ship by a certain time, or can they come back to the boat after enjoying some nightlife entertainment at the port?
That's a very great question, Jeremy. So that really depends on the local regulations, and the local port operations. So for example, I know in Florence, you can come late. In Hawaii, I think it's on Kauai, where the port is Union. I think there's a limitation on how late you can come back to the ship. And if you can't come back, you probably have to stay at a hotel. The ship will still be there. It really depends on the local operation, and we will clearly spell it out for the clients. And we actually have information online in NCL Help. So we actually have a little section on the agent portal where you can click into it and find out. I'm just hesitant to tell you what I know, because things might have changed, right? Especially during COVID. Sometimes when for example, we overnight in Alexandria for some of our Eastern Med cruise going from Istanbul to Athens, and we overnight in Egypt. Now, even though we overnight, we do tell the clients they have to be back on the ship by 11, because at that time the port just kind of shuts down. There's no security, and so that's closed, right? So it really depends on the local regulation. But for most ports, you can come whenever you want. So like, for example, I know in Kyoto, for our Japan cruise, it's overnight. In Thailand, the port is actually an hour and a half from Bangkok. We overnight there, but people can come back late, right? So again, I will ask you at the point of booking and before the clients leave, double check with us on the specific, because things might change, right? Like, we're selling all the way to 2026 now, so things might change. So I'm sorry, that's a long-winded answer. That's like 3-minute answer. So Ryan, can we have the next question?
Yeah, the next one is from Mark Krebs from Facebook. He says, Thomas, can you talk about the new partnership with the NHL that was in your lowdown email this week?
Oh, that's awesome. So this was just announced last week, and we're very excited because I was wondering, hey, am I gonna get box seats now at the games? And that would be fun. So we are actually throughout the games, there's actually gonna be like goal of the game or something, and there's ability for viewers to participate, and they could win free cruises. It's really a marketing partnership between Norwegian and NHL, the National Hockey League, and it's beneficial for both of us. Where we're offering sponsorship, and we're giving prizes away. So more news to come, because I know the season is about to start, but it's just one of those things where more information is coming. But I know for sure we are going to have some sort of, especially online, where there's going to be some interaction between fans, where they can answer questions, they can participate, and then they can win free cruises and stuff like that. Great question.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I like hockey, and that'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see how that develops, but exciting nonetheless. All right, our next question is from Scott Anthony Layton. Sorry, I mispronounced your name. He says, does NCL have any sort of status matching?
So we don't have a status match. That's something we're talking about now. A lot of times, people, the status matching, usually it's because they want that free laundry bag from Princess. If it helps close your business, reach out to me and say, hey, Thomas, can you just give my clients some onboard credit to, so they can have their free laundry, like some free wine. I'll be happy to give them amenities to help you close business, especially to sell on Norwegian. But that's on a base by base scenario, right? So like if I know most status don't give you like a lot of crazy things, so I'm okay with going out of my own budget and provide that for you. So if I could ask your client, if you travel partners, if you want me to help you close the business, ask your clients, hey, look, what's so great about this status you have with MSC Carnival Royal? What's so important to you? Let me see if I can get it for you for your sailing, so you can try Norwegian out, right? Because for me, it's all about getting them on the ship, and I'm very confident once they're on the ship, we can win their business.
That's very good customer service, Thomas.
Yeah, well, I'm very generous with other people's money, so that's me.
All right, our next question is from Walter Huber. It's a two-parter, two separate questions, but they are related. First question, does NCL have their own training academy for agents?
Great question. So we do. I will go over that in some later part in the PowerPoint slide. And actually, guys, I might just, okay, I'm gonna stay here. We do have educational courses called NCLU. So if you go to the agent portal, it's literally the first box that you can see. It's called NCLU. You click into it, you complete educational courses, and that is how you get travel agent discount. At the top level, you get 30% discount, and that's the same discount I get as a staff. There's no blackout dates. There's no limitation. You cannot book suites or Haven. But no, for a balcony, you can book during Christmas holiday. You can book during New Year's, right? And whatever inventory we have, you can book into it. And we honor the current promotion that we have right now. So right now we have $1,000 off, right? So you get that, and then also the 30% off. You start out, it'll take you probably less than 2 hours to reach master's level, which is 25% off, and then you will have to sell 5 cabins to get to the last level, the PhD level. But for those of you who's viewing this, really take the time and do really take the time and do the educational courses, because 25% off, that's a great deal. So
big discount.
Big discount. Yeah.
The second part of his question is, would like to know NCL's affiliated brands and if they have some type of training academy for them as
Oh
well.
yeah, of course.
Are they all integrated within the same NCL or are they separate?
Currently, it's not in the same system. It is you have to register with Archer Travel to get access to Oceania and Region 7 Seas, and those are great brands. I know I might be biased because I am from the NCL family, but Oceania is known as an upper premium cruise. They've won best food across all publications, every publications, Travel Weekly, Travel Edge West. I'm trying to think. I'm having a blank here, but if you check every travel publication, Oceania has won best food at sea for years, And Region 7 Seas, known as the most luxury cruise line in the world, the biggest suites at sea. The clients are paying like 40 grand for like a 7-day cruise, right? So if you have clients like that, I'm sure, we would love to service you. And of course, you can put them on the Haven, but if you have clienteles like that, that's definitely two sister brands that you could look into to increase your product offering. Because a lot of times you don't. There are actually crazy clients out there that will spend 100K, 200K a year on travel, and you get to have a good piece of the pie by going there.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right.
Questions?
Yes, we have two. I'm going to combine these two. One's from Carol Alati and the other's from Mimi Chung.
Okay.
Will NCL have ship inspections for agents in 2025? And will NCL have any seminars at sea in 2025?
Great question. So I do post about ship inspections when we have them. Usually it's local in Los Angeles, but when I was in Hawaii a couple weeks back, I know I have a couple Archer Travel people that joined. Sorry about that. That joined us on the ship inspection. So keep your eye on my Thomas's Lowdown for that information. The same thing as seminar at sea. We did not have any seminar at sea this year on Norwegian because we're all sold out. We came into the year 80% sold out for the year. So business has been going great. Thanks to everybody. But again, that's one of those things where you have to kind of pay attention to my email. So I read them. So if anything, just glance through them to see if there's any info you can see. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to keep going really fast now. So we've been talking about itineraries. I love that's why I'm in the travel industry. I love to travel. Here is just one of those things I'm looking at. I love Japan. So here is a Japan itinerary, 14-day visiting 12 ports. Crazy time to go to Japan right now. The USD to yen exchange, when you go, you're basically getting like a 50% discount on top of the tax exemptions, right? So great time for you to buy a luxury product in Japan. But the cruise here looks awesome. And here's another one. I'm from Taiwan. I want to go back to Taiwan, so I might just take this and kill two birds with one stone, visit Japan and Taiwan. 15-day cruises, 13 ports. So this is actually very similar to what I was talking about earlier, where Norwegian has more port days than everybody else, right? Our itineraries in the Mediterranean and in Asia have basically no sea days. It's just an intensive port day every single day. So if you have clients that love seeing more ports, we are the cruise line for them. But if they talk to you about how they want to enjoy the amenities on the ship, we're still the cruise line for them because everyone's going to be in port, so they're going to get to have the whole ship for themselves. Right? Really quickly, I want to talk about selling in Norwegian because I'm running out of time, and this is very important. Norwegian, there's one thing you should know. We do have a final payment date very far. We're 120 days away from sailing. And so, but we pay out at that point. So we lock in earlier, so the clients have to make the decision earlier. So you're not rushing. at the end. So more at sea. This is what we should. I need to focus on really quickly. More at sea. This is our core product. And what this is we bundle everything to our main product, the cruise, and we bundle unlimited open bar, specialty dining package, buy one get one air free, sure excursion credit, Wi-Fi package, third and fourth sell free. So that's very important when you sell Norwegian. You want to convince your clients to buy this to actually use the bundle. We do charge a service fee on the beverage package and specialty dining. It's basically like gratuity, right? Because like if you're buying a drink on board the ship, they sign everything. They leave a little tip, but we have that. We basically built it in. So when we give you the package, the price will go up a little bit just because we're adding the service fees on there. And just an example of the beverage package we have. We have Grey Goose, Casamigos, Woodford Reserve, just very high end. Like the most cruise line on their beverage package, you're not having Woodford or Grey Goose. They have the lower tier, but we have that in our package. So if you think about it, the beverage package fee, the fee is $30 per person per day on a 7-day cruise. That's $200. But if if your clients were to purchase an actual beverage package on board our other competitors, they're spending way more than that, right? And $30 a day, if you're doing 2 drinks a day, they're breaking even. And specialty dining. So we are actually offering specialty dining. We're changing the way we approach specialty dining. Before, you get to have 1 appetizer, 1 main course, and 1 dessert. We are changing the specialty dining. There's no more a la carte menu. The clients get 3 appetizers and 3 dessert and one entree per package. So this is great. You get to have more instead of what we had before. But if your clients were if they're just walking in, they're not purchasing, they didn't have more at sea, they will just have to pay for cover charge. And every restaurant is a little bit different. So this is for those of you who sailed with Norwegian before, we used to sell specialty dining package on board the ship and before you go on. But with this change, we're no longer selling those specialty dining package. The clients have to get more at sea to get those packages. So just more. And Wi-Fi. Previously, Wi-Fi, the package were only given to guest 1 and guest 2. But now it is 1 login per guest. So if you have 6 guests in the Haven cabin with three bedrooms, oh yeah, sure, everybody gets free minutes. And I know the minutes is not that great. The trick is you click into it, you log in, you refresh, log out, and you can save minutes like that. But usually for me, I'm too busy drinking and talking to people. I'm not on my phone. But you can upgrade to unlimited if they want to. So here is just a very quick on the pricing. And FYI Norwegian, by November, every single one of our ship will be on Starlink for Wi-Fi. So that's something exciting. But I do want to preface that by saying I know a lot of times people blame cruise line for bad internet. I would love to talk trash about other cruise line, but I just want to let people know a lot of time the cruise ship internet is based on the position of a satellite. So usually if you're selling in the Caribbean, that's fine because there's always satellites above the Caribbean. But if you're doing the Alaska cruises, if you're doing the Iceland cruises where there's less satellites going overboard, the Wi-Fi gets slower. It's the nature of how satellite internet works, whether on ship or on airplane. So just FYI. Sure excursion credit, it's $50 excursion per every excursion, so it's not per day. So if your clients book 3-4 excursions in an overnight, every excursion will get a $50 credit. Free airfare, second guest get free airfare. I do want to preface by saying there's going to be a next slide to talk about air. I also want to talk about third and fourth guests sell free. They just have to pay taxes. This is a great deal, but I will only recommend it to clients with kids. If you've been on a cruise ship cabin, It is not made. I don't care if you're in a balcony or a club balcony. A cruise ship cabin is not made for 4 adults. I don't care which cruise line you're on. A balcony is not made for 4 adults, right? Book two cabins, and don't let people complain to you. You have to convince them the value of not having 4 adults in one room, because that's just crazy. So more at sea, just very fun for us. For those of you who have clients who booked and had the free at sea, our previous promotion, you would see this more at sea promotion is more value. And for those of you who have already booked, we are going to grandfather you. They don't have to pay additional fees. They will automatically be upgraded to the more at sea starting January 1st. Again, they don't have to pay extra. They're getting everything there is. That's just it. They get more. Price is what you pay, value is what you get, right? So that's what I want to say about that promotion. Really quickly, I'm running out of time, so I just want to talk about how the air. I mentioned I want to talk about air. This our air program is great for people who want to save as much money as possible. That doesn't mind an extra connection, because we choose the schedule. People. I guarantee you, people will save over 50% on air by going through us. But then, if they're traveling, if it's 10 cabins traveling, you have to tell them not everyone's going to travel on the same flight, right? The people in the same cabin will travel on the same flight, but people in the group, they're not guaranteed to fly in a group. But they'll save so much money. But if your client is like Peter Picky here, where they want to choose their own flight, they want to fly with 10 different people, then you should book them individually outside of Norwegian. Do not book it through Norwegian. So buy one, get one air, very good value, but let the clients know if they commit to it, there's no choice. They have to take what we give them. And we will get them there. It's just one of those things where I want to be upfront with you on the availability, the options. They're limited, right? Right? Price is what you pay for. Okay. Really quickly, cruise first. I'm kind of running out of time, but this is a certificate you can buy for your client. It's kind of like a non-refundable deposit, where they buy this certificate. They pay $150. It's worth $300. They can use it towards the cruise. If they cancel before final payment, the certificate goes back to their username, and they can use it for the future. There's no expiration date, and they can buy up to 10. So this is a great thing if they want to save some money. You should talk to them about it. Just know that they cannot refund it. It has to be, it will return as a certificate if they don't use it. You can buy it online through the booking system, or you can buy it by calling us. We also have something called the Cruise Next. This is basically the same thing, but the client buy it on board the ship. So Cruise Next, they buy it when they're on the ship. They get a discount, a 50% discount right there. So if they spend $1,000 to buy $1,000 worth of Cruise Next on the ship, automatically we give them $500 back on that sailing. So they basically pay $500 for $1,000 worth of certificate. So this is a great thing. We usually have double up. If you're reading my Thomas's Lowdown, we have Cruise Next a promotion all the time. So that's great. Really quickly, I'm going through some stuff because I want to be respectful of your time. Agency exclusive. So remember, Jose mentioned from the 14th to the 24th. So next week, if you're booking your clients on a balcony above, if it's not on the Luna, Aqua, and the Viva, we will cover their prepaid service gratuity. Right, that's $20 per person per day. So $40 per cabin per day. That's a great deal. You're saving, on a 7-day cruise, $280. No brainer. So take advantage of that. Very quickly, Norwegian, we have the best group program in the industry. We give 1 TC for every 10 berth. Every 5 so 10 berth, that's 2 to a cabin. Every 5 cabins, we give you a tour conductor credit on the 10th person, right? The 10th berth. Industry standard is 16 berth to 1 TC. For those of you who are new to the business, tour conductor credit is basically a free slot. It's a comp slot when you sell group. It's either, it's for you to go on to the group, at a discount because you can use that comp towards your berth, or if you wait until the end, we'll send it as a commission check. So you can claim it as a commission. So NCL Connect, really quickly, this is a personal white label website you can create within 5 minutes. And this is a live website that mirrors ncl.com. If you send it to your clients, they can find their own cruise, they can get the live pricing, but instead of booking directly with Norwegian, and they click contact me now, and you'll receive an email telling you, oh, your client's Thomas Chang is looking at this cruise, right? So this is a great deal, great free marketing tool for you to use. You should have it on your website. So I mentioned the promotion, and that's it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. 4 minutes over.
Thank you, Thomas. That was a wealth of information, but very awesome information. The ships are beautiful. I'm sure every agent in the chat and watching this live learned something new about NCL and something that can be useful to them in closing the deal with their clients and getting them on that ship. Like you said, is so important. That is our end goal. We want to get your clients on the ship because NCL wants to make them NCL cruisers, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. If anyone has any questions or anything, Thomas had his contact information up at the beginning of the presentation.
And my contact should be on Travel Cafe also. So if you need to reach me, please email me, and I'll get back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Thomas. It was a pleasure having you here. It's always a lot of fun having you in the studio. Until next time.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.